It's on and they're running. Everybody practiced for the Chiefs, and that means this guy and this guy and even this guy. What does it mean versus the Texans in the divisional round? Let's break it down. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Ryan. This is Ryan Going Rogue. The name of the channel is what you're getting right here today because I am out there on a limb in a number of different ways. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about your Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to tell you right now. Like, sub, hit the bell, become part of Rogue Nation. You can do that in the memberships. You can get attached everywhere there that you want, and check out my other formats over on Locked On Chiefs and NFL33.com. Excited today because we are partnered again with BetUS. You can check them out. Use the code YouTube150 to get a great bonus, 150% on your deposit when you use them. A lot going on in Kansas City. Chris Jones back on the field. This is job number one. They needed to get him fully healthy. Gave him the extra time off. Probably could have played last week had they actually had a wild card game, but luckily the plan worked out and he didn't have to be on it. Looked good, got back to practice, have some footage out there floating around on social media. From what I understand, back to 100% should not be an issue, and they're going to need him. The defensive front is going to be critical against the Houston Texans. They have to get after the passer. It is going to be a little bit of push and pull. The secondary is going to help, but the pass rush has to get there, and the pass rush will get a little bit of extra time to make those maneuvers. It's not like they're facing the Chargers, somebody elite on the offensive line unit. They have to get their pressure, and it's got to come from the spark plug that is Chris Jones. I actually like the fact that he's been off for a bit because I think it makes him hungry, and I think it makes him a guy that wants to prove something. They have 12 quarters to a championship right now. That's what they have left. Chris Jones can pull that off. He helps and pulls along Charles Omenihu. He helps and pulls along George Karlaftis, Mike Dana. Anybody who's chasing the passer benefits from Chris Jones's presence, and this whole team is going to as well. He is the catalyst on the front for the defensive pressure, for all the scheme, everything Steve Spagnuolo wants to do. Steve Spagnuolo has been pretty popular this week, and because of Chris Jones and what he allows this defense to do, Spags is getting some attention as a head coach. We'll deal with that after the season, but it all starts and stops with Chris Jones. Having him back out there is epic. The second thing that is absolutely on top of my mind, and I wanted to make it the thumbnail, is because of this. It's not just having Patrick Mahomes. It's not just having Hollywood Brown. It's having Hollywood Brown with Patrick Mahomes and D-Hop and X and Kelsey. It all comes together. And I feel like, in particular, this combination of Patrick Mahomes to Hollywood Brown has been underutilized, under-advertised, and quite frankly is lying in the weeds ready to attack the Texans and whoever makes it to the AFC Championship game and whoever they get in the Super Bowl. Because I do believe the path to the Super Bowl runs through Kansas City, and they are the favorites. They should get there, but they got to use all their weapons. I think they've been playing with their food more so than we talked about most of the season. The fact that they got Hollywood back is great. They got him back a little earlier than they expected, I think. And they still didn't really emphasize him. They were really trying to feed Xavier Worthy because I think that's the rope-a-dope. I think as they go through, whether it's this week, whether it's the championship, whether the same for the Super Bowl, we're going to see it in different evolutions. But I think by feeding X, they know what Travis Kelsey is. They know what D-Hop is. I think Hollywood's kind of under the radar right now for the Texans, for the Ravens, for the Bills, and certainly the rest of the NFC who don't have a clue at this point just how much Hollywood Brown can hurt you when paired with Patrick Mahomes. And I think as we see this evolution flip, you're going to see some teams start to jump on some routes from X. And I'm just going to keep calling Xavier Worthy X. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's where I'm at. And I think they understand, particularly the Texans, what D-Hop's going to do. So I think there's an opportunity for Hollywood Brown to sneak out of the backfield, go downtown, and make some epic plays, chunk plays, the big things we've been waiting for. I think it just has to be timed well. So number 3 today, my thoughts are the best way to get into the action is with BetUS and their deal with code YouTube150. You can start playing today with that exclusive offer. You can get into all the football that you want, whether it's this week's matchup for the Chiefs, whether it's getting into the season-long odds against Super Bowl, against the division. The Chiefs are heavily favored in a lot of those, but there are plenty of bets to be made. And you can do it all at BetUS, where you can get 150% of your deposit bonus up to 3 times and up to 2,000. Use YouTube 150 today at BetUS. You got to pace Patrick. And Patrick's got to be disciplined. He can't linger in the pocket and wait and look like Sam Darnold did in their wild card game, where there just isn't enough time. When Patrick's been most effective, he has been able to drop back, get the ball out, hit the target, move on to the next play. He needs to do that, at least through the first quarter, wear down that defense a little bit to the point where, okay, now you can take a shot. And especially if you're hitting Hollywood short, you're hitting him short, X is going over the top, you invert that, and all of a sudden, I think you're going to get some huge chunk plays. That's what I think should be the emphasis. Now, on the defensive side, you got to go back there because Jaylen Watson also practiced today. And I will say this. I don't know that he can play yet. Andy Reid doesn't know if he can play yet. The fact that he's not sure he can make it through a full game is something. That means he's not 100%, and he's probably not even 80%. So if you get 70% of Jaylen Watson for 30 snaps a game, is it really worth playing when you could just let him rest another week? And you got to feel like you have the advantage and you can get through this first game in the divisional round and then activate him for the AFC Championship game. The only problem is when they put out the practice report, and I'm reading the tea leaves a little bit here, maybe it's too much detail. There was only one guy who didn't practice in full, and he did practice. He was limited, but that was Mecole Hardman. And when they put out the report, they put Mecole Hardman, parentheses, IR, meaning he's not activated yet because he's not. His window is open, same as Jaylen Watson. LP for limited practice. When they put Jaylen Watson on there, they said full practice, no IR designation behind his name. I don't know if that means that they're going to make the move, but it tells me that at least in the mind of the people that create the list, the PR folks that actually put it out, that maybe he's a little bit further along than even they expected at this point. And I think that's important to see. So Jaylen Watson, whether it's this week or next week, helps this team. I think physically he helps against Nico Collins right now. So if he's ready to go, fine. But you have to be able to trust Trent McDuffie on anybody. I do. The difference for this Texans game is that they don't have Tank Dell. He got hurt against the Chiefs, hasn't played, won't play again this season. Their passing game is not the same. So I do think they have to buckle down, and they're going to have to run the ball. I think they're going to want to run the ball. And I think that is really going to set the tone. So it comes back to who can attack the run. If they want to establish Joe Mixon so they can play action in Nico Collins, how do you stop that? Well, you jam the A-gaps. You attack them in the run game. I think they want to run a little bit more outside than up the middle against the Chiefs defense, but we'll see. I think the most important guy against the run right now is Leo Chenal because I think he's been underplaying. I think he hasn't had as many snaps down the stretch. He should be rested. I think he can be the X factor in the run game. If they choose to run directly at Nick Bolton, I think that's okay. Nick will take on blocks. Chenal's got to come cover in. If they don't run at Nick Bolton, they run outside, it's going to be at Chenal, and he's got to hold up at the point. We know how strong he is. I think he's been playing some of his best balls, particularly against the run on the outside edge. So I feel like he's going to be very, very important, along with George Karlaftis, along with Mike Danna and Charles Omenihu, the guys on the outer edges, so they can collapse on the interior runs and they can set the edge in the outer runs to let everybody come up. All the DBs have been playing really good run support, so I feel like they're in a good shape to do that. If they give him high shells and make him run, I think it plays into what the Chiefs want to do. We're going to give you more on the game plan episode coming up later in the week, so don't miss that on Friday. We appreciate you. I'm pretty excited. Been waiting for a playoff game at this point. This is what I think. Let me know what you think. Put your thoughts down in the comments on YouTube. I would appreciate to see them. Thanks for being with me today. Have a great one. I'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.